Hi, and welcome to your Urban Connection. Okay, ladies, let's get right into it. I have had enough. I've had my fill of some of these black men who are requesting, and demanding out of nowhere that they be given special attention. They who have sat by quietly for 40 years or better and voted for and supported all kinds of presidential candidates, some Republican and some Democrats. And they've never stepped out of their lane to ask for a damn thing from any of them. And all of them were white, except for Barack Obama. But all of a sudden, here we have an election coming up in less than 3 weeks. And one of the candidates that is running for president is a black woman whose name, if you haven't heard, is Kamala Harris. And all of a sudden, these black men who've sat by idly and quietly and given their vote to every one of those Republican candidates, their vote. They're giving it to them, haven't asked for a dadgum thing. But now all of a sudden, we have a black woman who's a candidate and who has a great opportunity to be the first female ever president of the United States. But these black men want to do everything they can to sabotage her election. They want to make demands on Kamala Harris that they've made on no other presidential candidate in this country. Now, let me make this plainly and clear to you. I have been saying for years that black people should stop giving away their vote to any candidate. I don't care if it was Republican or Democrat. You should have learned by now that if you don't ask for anything, you're not going to get anything from either party. And the way you ask for something is you've got to learn to vote in blocks, not individual, in blocks. And you make demands, I didn't say requests, you make demands to have your wishes granted, or you will withhold your vote. But we didn't do that. And that's not what we're doing this time. Now, why did I say that? Because they are making demands on Kamala Harris while at the same time not making equal demands on Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has been president for 4 years. What the hell did he do for you? What did he do for you? What did he offer you? What did he give you? Not one, well, I can't say not one thing. And you know it, and I know it. So why in the hell are you going out of your way to sabotage the election of the first female presidential candidate? Well, she's not the first candidate because she's the second candidate, but she has the potential to be the first elected female in the United States of America. And you want to use out of the way excuses and show your ignorance and lack of intelligence and pretend you were not living when Trump was president for 4 years? You don't remember that? You don't remember how he took away everything that previous presidents had made available to you, such as Voting Rights Act. You don't remember that? You don't remember him even just as recently as a month ago talking about in Springfield, Ohio, how immigrants, black immigrants, were eating cats and dogs? You don't remember that? You don't remember how this same Donald J. Trump refused and was sued by the federal government not once but twice for failing to rent apartments to black people? You don't remember that? You don't remember Donald Trump, the same Donald Trump that's running for president? You don't remember a few years ago when he took out a 4-page ad calling for the uh, the death penalty for 5 black and Mexican men who were charged with and convicted for called the Central Park Five, for raping a woman in Central Park, only to be found innocent later by DNA. You don't remember that? And you have to remember that to this day, Donald Trump has never apologized for calling for their death. Okay? He's never apologized, even though the original criminal, the guy that made the charge, made the rape attack, has come forward. And these guys, with DNA and with this guy's admittance that he was the one, he still refuses to this day to apologize and admit that he was wrong. Well, he doesn't do that. But you guys don't remember that. You were not in America at that time. You were not in America. Okay? When this guy insulted you black males, with his introduction of his gold sneakers and saying that you identified with him because you had suffered the same thing he has suffered. And he has suffered the same thing you have suffered. No way in hell is that believable. Not even by you dummies. But you don't have the decency to realize that throwing your support behind Donald J. Trump because of the fact that he stated, and you were dumb enough to believe it, that he sent you some checks during the COVID. Well, if you had any common sense, all you had to do was read. And on that check, even though you saw Donald Trump's name, that check did not come from Donald Trump. That check came from the U.S. Treasury. Okay? Don't get it twisted. Don't be a dummy all your life. Wake up. Read the writing on the wall. This man is a born racist to the core. Now, so I want to ask you, what is he going to give you should he get elected? Which I hope not, and I really think not. What is it that you people cannot understand about the fact that most of the people that worked in his cabinet, people were close to him, people that dealt with him on a daily basis, are now refusing to embrace, endorse, or support Donald J. Trump? Most of those people were willing to tell you that Donald J. Trump is unfit to be anywhere near the White House, be in the seat of the president, have any control over the nuclear button, all the while that he's friendly, loving to our worst enemies. And that's the man you want to be the president of the United States? You can't be that dumb. You can't be that ignorant. Now, I know some of you are uneducated. You've not done any homework. You've not researched anything about the history or the past of Donald J. Trump. You've not recognized that Donald J. Trump is the biggest liar we've ever had in the White House in our entire history. Oh, so he will tell you what you want to hear. He will make all kinds of promises to you, but he will keep none of them. If you don't believe me, ask the mine workers in West Virginia, the coal miners. Ask them. He made promises to them before he was elected in 2015. Ask the steel workers of America. He made promises to them in 2015. Ask the 13,000 people in Wisconsin who he promised that he'd cut a deal with a foreign national to build a manufacturing plant that would hire 13,000 people from the Wisconsin area, Milwaukee area. The guy was supposed to build a manufacturing plant, okay? The guy was supposed to hire 13,000 people. And to this day, he's not hired one. He's never even built the factory that Trump was promising to you. None of that came true. So why in the hell do you think he would do something for you? As a matter of fact, Donald Trump will not even have a single one of you, anybody that looks like you, at the table in the discussions as to what he's going to do for others. And when I say others, I mean other millionaires and billionaires. And that does not include most of you. Okay? Donald Trump has a history. You need to find out about his history. Don't listen to what Donald Trump says. Don't believe a word of it. Every time his lips are moving, he's lying. And you're too dumb to see through it. You want to believe it. Because as the old saying goes, I got you. The white man's ice is always colder. Okay? And you're still being tricked. Donald Trump is playing the fear game and using you as a tool, and you don't even see it. You don't have enough common sense to recognize when you're being played and used as a tool to play the old game of divide and conquer. Yeah, that's it. We've seen it time after time after time, year after year after year. And here we are. We find ourselves today in 2024. And some of you dummies are still falling for that game. It's worse than three-card money. Okay? And I don't understand where you're coming from. Nobody understands where you're coming from. You say, why is it you haven't in the past 40 years? Why haven't you demanded that your civil rights organizations step up and be your voice and make some demands and ask for something from these politicians before leading you off into an empty well? Okay? Because they don't ask for anything. They allow you and lead you to give away your vote every single time. Don't ask for nothing, but maybe a photo op. Have you ever noticed that? Oh, you get plenty of photo ops, and Donald Trump has proved it. He's gotten photo ops, most of them free, some of them he's paid for. He's even photoshopped a few of them, okay? He's used artificial intelligence for a few of them. He's done anything he could do to use and abuse you black folks. Don't you remember just a few months ago, he used, teased, and abused Tim Scott, leading Tim to believe he was going to be a black vice president on the Republican ticket, a vice president to Donald Trump. Well, how did that work out for you and Tim Scott? You can see how Donald Trump used Byron Donalds and Ben, whatever his name is, in the Atlanta barbershop, used these people as pawns and tools, and then used and abused the owner of the barbershop, all the while paying him $4,800 to be hoodwinked. You fools can't see that for yourself when it's right in front of your face. Oh, you can see it, but you just can't see yourself supporting Kamala Harris because Kamala is black. Okay? Now, some of you will say, oh, she's not black. She's Indian. She's not. Well, stop showing your ignorance, your total ignorance. You know as well as I do that in America, the old one drop rule, it's never changed. Her father was a Jamaican. He's black. He doesn't profess to be anything other than black. Okay? So stop with the bull crap. Okay? Stop using lame ass excuses that don't hold water. Stop being a fool. Stop being used by Donald J. Trump. Because in the end, not only will you be labeled as a fool, you'll be proven to be a fool for your wayward actions and your willingness to play the game with one of the biggest racist, narcissist, bigoted people you've ever seen. Okay? Now, you know as well as I do that Donald Trump is doing everything he can to tell you that the only thing he wants from you is your vote. And what the hell are you going to get in return? You're going to get to kiss his boots. That's what you get. That's Tim Scott. That's what Tim Scott got. That's Byron Donalds. That's what Byron Donalds got and is getting to this day. He's willing to go before the cameras and look right into the camera and lie and digress and do everything he can to be Donald Trump's puppet. And what does he get? He will get what the rest of them got. The minute that Donald Trump has finished using and abusing and making a fool out of you, he will kick you to the curb. Okay? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me just explain one thing to you. One of the biggest Nazis, white nationalists in the country, has just said that he will not be voting for Trump in 2024 because of the fact that even he recognizes that Trump has basically turned his back on him after he tried to support Trump. And what he is saying is that he's so sure that if Donald Trump gets elected, Donald Trump will fill his cabinet with gays and Jews. Now, we all know how Donald Trump has tried to play up to the Jews. He even said that any Jew that would vote for Kamala Harris should have their head examined. But I'm going to tell you who should have their head examined. That's Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump, if you watch him at his rallies, watch his speeches on TV, whatever, Donald Trump is unhinged. He's mentally unstable. His mental acuity is diminishing more and more each and every day. After all, Donald Trump is the oldest man to ever run for president as of now. You see, once Joe Biden decided to step aside, Donald Trump, who's 78, took the title. And he is showing his mental incapacity each and every day. Okay? So stop with all the game playing. Stop with all the foolishness. Okay? Think ahead. I want you to think not only about yourself, because you apparently don't care about yourself, but think about your kids if you have any. Think about your grandchildren if you have any. Think about your sisters if you have one. Think about your mother if you have one. Think about your daughter if you have one. Think about anybody that is Black and looks like me and you. Is this what you want for them? I know you haven't thought about it. And some of you have thought about it. And you don't care because of the fact that you can't bring yourself to support any Black woman who is strong, intelligent, highly capable, highly qualified, and dignified. You can't bring yourself to support such a woman. Okay? Let's face it, you never have, and you probably never will. But if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Make a liar out of me. I dare you. But other than that, I know who you are. I've seen them like you most of my adult life. So I know where you're coming from. I recognize you. Okay? And I don't like what I see. And I don't think most intelligent, either men or women in the Black community, lack who you are, nor what you are, nor what you stand for. Because you are a sellout. That's it. I'm not going to miss any words. I don't sugarcoat. You are a sellout to your community. You have no shame. You haven't done your homework. You haven't researched anything. You know nothing of what you speak because of the fact that I've never heard one of you say that you were voting for Donald Trump because you lack his policies. Because he doesn't have any policies except for doing everything he can to put your Black ass back into 1964, before the Civil Rights Act. You see, Donald Trump's administration, and it started with Donald Trump, has started pushing and denying and making policies against DEI. Now, why do you think he's doing that? Donald Trump and the Supreme Court and his handpicked buddies on the Supreme Court have turned back the clock on affirmative action programs. Now, what do these programs all have in common? You dummies don't have enough sense to see that these programs that they're destroying and diminishing and taking away, and the rights they're taking away, only involve and include people of color just like you. What more do I need to tell you? For you to wake up and smell the roses. For one time, learn not to be used and abused by someone that doesn't give one damn about you. And there's nobody in this country that cares less about you than Donald J. Trump. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Camera with our chiefs, and I'm working. Yeah, it's terrifying. I mean, I can't even imagine reading about putting the bulletproof glass in his home.